So good morning, everybody. Back to Out of the Bubble. And this morning I am talking with the lovely Kate Blakemore, who I met, I think it was 2018, actually, Kate. Welcome this morning. How are you doing?
Fine, yeah. I'm conscious I've got 3 children downstairs and I keep telling them to keep the noise down. An indication of where my life is at.
Yes, yeah. I think lockdown has shown lots of parents kind of juggling with everything and trying to manage kids and say, please be quiet when I'm doing this. It's not easy, is it?
No. That and cats. I've got 2 little cats that keep squabbling, so it's manic.
So if I hear cats and kids in the background, we know why. So yeah, we met at a Crunchy Tales event, didn't we, in Chester?
Yeah.
Which was really interesting because I think she had 4 guests on where we shared our stories really about what we were doing and how we were kind of helping women with inspiration and empowerment. And you are the absolute epitome of that. So for anyone that doesn't know about you, how would you describe what you do?
I guess my new title of late, because it's been interesting how people would describe me. So I would say more of a women and girls mental health advocate. I am a counsellor, and then I founded a women and girls mental health charity as well. So all that I think is encompassed in that title.
Yes, yeah. I mean, your background has been for years in helping, hasn't it? And helping other women and a support network. What kind of roles have you done leading up to this?
So I worked in the homeless sector for years for women, and then alongside that also did my counselling. And I think I identified the gap and put the 2 together really to found the charity. So in March it was our 5th year actually of the charity. Wow. So literally from when it was registered on International Women's Day, and so it was our 5th birthday on International Women's Day, which didn't quite go to how we planned because we were slowly going into lockdown, but had some great celebrations on those for Women's Day on that time.
Good. And the charity is the Motherwell Cheshire group, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what kind of services do you provide?
We have quite defined projects. So we work with young women. This is one of our newest projects called Inspire. And we work with women 14 to 18. We have another project called Believe, which works with women quite intensively who are at risk of having their children removed from their care. We have an infant loss support group, and we have a mentoring for over 50s. So it sounds a lot, but actually it's quite a simple model because they all interlink. We do social prescribing activities, so reading group, choir, walking group, mentoring, counselling, and peer support groups.
Wow. I mean, it's everything that you're doing is amazing, and I can only imagine how much lockdown has had such a big impact, not only on the charity but on the women that need that support. How difficult has that been?
It has been difficult. I'm really proud of the team. We transitioned really well. For me, it's been difficult because Motherwell was based on the interaction of face-to-face, the getting together of the local community. So I was probably the last to adapt, to be honest, because I wanted people to come offline, and be in their local community. However, we've been able to achieve it online, so it does have its uses massively. It sounds funny, but the choir still meet online. The reading groups still read and meet and talk about the groups. Counselling, we moved straight away online. So that took quite a bit of work, but it's what we needed to do, really.
Yeah. I mean, you've obviously had so much experience in dealing with these women that some of them are really quite vulnerable. And one thing that struck me last time we had a conversation was how society judges people without knowing people's situations. And I'm sure some of the women that you deal with have had some really harsh judgments on them. How do we change society? How do we change other women judging other women without really knowing their story and background? It's really difficult.
Extremely difficult, and I think it is. Social media has a very good place with that. As I've just said, our Believe project is probably the most judge project. We are working with women who, you know, are at threat of having their children removed. And one of the reasons I asked Sally Carman, who is a character in, well, Sally Carman is a person, but her character in Coronation Street had been through that storyline, and her character is so lovable, as is Sally. But you know, I think soaps. I'm a big soap person anyway, but soaps have a real impact on being able to relate, and because then we can relate our services to it in that way. Also, just telling people stories, and we're really lucky in the charity that some people, you know, some women so want to tell their stories to help other women. And you know, that takes some bravery and courage to do that.
Yeah, it really does.
You know, so I think we're very lucky with that, and I think that's a lot of my place, where I can connect, because I can, you know, work with them to do that. And I always say, you know, circumstances can change within a day, and you never ever know what situation you may find yourself in.
And I think that's even more so now. I mean, I think even more so during lockdown. Like, I know my life's changed dramatically in the last 6 months from being, you know, having a busy, thriving career to suddenly having no work whatsoever. It's been really, you know, that's been quite a stress. So I can imagine, 10 times that for some women in difficult situations.
And I spoke to one of my counsellors this morning, and I said, you know, we're going to be really busy, I think, September onwards with counselling, because people who've never experienced anxiety, I get anxiety now when I've got to go to a shop and queue outside, you know, and it's hard. I went into work for the first time yesterday, and I was really, you know, stressed about that, make sure we'd got everything right for everybody. So I think there's going to be people who've never experienced any kind of mental health issues, and you know what I want to say, it's certainly understandable. It's not embarrassing. There's no, you know, there shouldn't be any stigma.
Absolutely.
What I'm worried about is people won't recognise it in themselves at the moment.
Because there's just too much going on, and the world just seems quite a unsettled place right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So how will you come out of lockdown with the charity? Have you got plans in place to kind of slowly start getting people back in?
Yeah, I've been working on that this morning. So we've obviously been offering counselling, but we're moving to offering one-to-one counselling again over the next few months, and looking at how we can do that safely. The big one for me is getting the community groups back together September onwards with social distancing. You know, I know the choir met last night, but they had a walk in the park instead, and with social distancing. So we're kind of, you know, in line with what government want us to do, and moving forward with that, really. But yeah, we've done well to get some funding, I'll admit that. And I also know young women are going to be very anxious going back to school. So we're currently working on that at the moment.
I mean, I love the fact that you now do this Inspire group, where it's focusing on younger girls, because they're the ones, in a way, that if we can catch them early enough, we can make a real difference, can't we? So what's the Inspire group about? What's the kind of...
At the moment, we're looking for a committee of young girls, and for some reason last night we just seem to have loads of people get in touch. Good. But I'm really passionate that the young girls shape that Inspire project, because although I like to think I'm young and with it, my daughter tells me I'm not. So I think I want them to tell us what they need to access, and I think far too often they're offered what an equivalent to an adult is offered, and that's not always right for them. We are funded to offer counselling, and we will offer counselling, but I think just by them taking control of something will help their mental health, having that purpose, having a say, having a voice. So that's where we're up to. We're currently writing some workshops that they can access online, of strategies of going back into school and college, and transitions that a lot of young people will be making. So I think that's going to be our biggest project over this month, because that I feel for them with some of them, with the transitions they've got to make.
I know last time we talked, you were telling me about the role models that you've been helping the younger girls find in the community, which I thought was a fantastic idea. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, because we're actually recruiting for that, for an intake in September, actually. So we recruit women over 45 to be mentors for the younger generation. Perhaps people that have had lived experience of mental health. So this is not a mentor that will, you know, business people or anything like that. It's about managing mental health and how you overcome that, really. And one of my team suggested mentors for young women who were between 20 and 25, mentoring young girls. And I really like that idea. I need to shape that a bit more. But, you know, I'm absolutely adamant that role models and mentors can make a difference. Just knowing you've got that one constant person that, you know, wants you to succeed, really.
Especially when you consider social media and the pressure that young people have with unrealistic role models that they're, you know, the Kardashians and people like that these younger girls seem to follow, to have real women that they can relate to and talk to and have support from every day, I can imagine would just make such a big difference. And I wish I'd had that when I was at that age.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people say that, and a lot of people say, like, generally about our charity, I wish, you know, this type of charity was around when I was struggling. But I think there's nothing more powerful to say I was there and now this is where I'm at, because it, you know, you think, well, I can do that as well. You know, and just to have one person, I always say this as a counsellor as well, to have one person that can believe in you can make a huge difference. You can't underestimate that sometimes.
So what about you? Do you have a mentor? Do you have somebody that's helped you along the way?
Oh yeah, I'm really, really lucky. I always say that. You know, last week particularly I had, you know, contact with my mentor, a few other people I'm working with at universities, and just like, well, I'm good with ideas, and then I kind of tail out with the intricate detail. So it's great for people to, you know, pull that together. And I know me and you spoke about it before, but, you know, just that women supporting women is just so, I know it's a cliche from me that people hear it all the time, but I'm privileged to see it every day working, really.
Yeah, I think it's so true, and I think it's so important. And also I think when you look at what's going on in the world right now with the disruption, with a hopeful change of Black Lives Matter making an impact, I think if more women were involved supporting each other, we'd all make much, you know, a massive difference to the world.
No, definitely. And I've just joined the Women's Equality Party, and I was like, I'm not sure if this is right for me. But I think if I can represent grassroots, real life lived experience and feed that up, I think I found my place in that, and I'm happy with that. You know, there's lots and lots of strategies around, but doesn't quite filter to how that would be operationally for people. So I kind of the last few months thought, that's where I fit in. You know, I can, you know, represent those people that these aren't being represented, really.
Stephanie Burgess has just asked, how do we volunteer for the mentoring? Because she loves the idea.
Well, you can get in touch by emailing hr@motherwellcheshire.com. Actually, I've just done a post about it on one of our pages.
Brilliant! I'll share it. I'll share it today on my page.
That's got all the details of it as well.
Brilliant. How do you switch off from all this, Kate? Because you do give so much to others, which is amazing. But surely there has to be a time where you have to pull a bit back and keep something for yourself.
I do go to bed early. Don't necessarily go to sleep, but I go to bed early. I've realised of late, actually, I've just done a blog about when my head is full, because I think that's how I describe myself. My head's just too full and I need to stop. I do read a lot because I think that's good, but sometimes that isn't good because of the type of books I read feed me more and I go off on one.
I'm the same. It's like you need a notebook at the side of your book.
I love walking, and obviously I do, for those that know, I do a lot of swimming as well. So that's really been hard because we've not been able to swim at all. And it's one thing that I've always said that I swim quite mindfully, and I do not think of anything when I'm swimming. So that's really good for me.
Because I know you've done wild swimming with your group, haven't you? Didn't you all do the Great North Swim a couple of years ago?
Yeah, and we should have done it. I wasn't going to do the full mile because I was going to do it with my son this year. But so I've done that, and I went for my first swim since lockdown on Sunday, and that was really lovely, actually. You forget when you don't do things, you forget the impact that they do have on you.
Yeah, the last few weeks I've just discovered some really nice places where I can go while swimming, and I've realised how much I love it. It just brings me it's calming for me. It's a real sense of calm. So if my head is full, I could just go there for half an hour and be swimming along in the river, and it's just beautiful. So that's something that I'm definitely.
It's hard to explain to people, I think, isn't it? What it can give you, really. And obviously, we've got a group of us, so it was lovely to be able to, swim with them and catch up, and you forget all what encompasses in that swim, really.
Yeah, no, amazing. So, what else have you got planned for the charity moving forwards? How ambitious are you to see it grow?
So project I'm working on, I am ambitious. Everyone knows that.
Driven. I think you're very driven, Kate.
I've just done a plug on that, actually, because that's hard to own, that word ambition, because people have a real negative thought, particularly with women, on that. And I've just done a blog about why is ambition such a dirty word. And it's a conversation a few of me and my friends have who would all own that we're quite ambitious. So we are looking at having, expanding Motherwell into other deprived towns, really, and using the model that we know works now. That's a lot of background work going on, and certainly not going to happen at the moment. We were well on our way of that happening, but we've kind of gone back 6 months now. But the whole women's sport to women in the local community, if people feel they belong in the local community, then it can have a massive impact on them. So I do think it's got leverage to do the charity to do that, really.
Well, you've also joined, I've read somewhere that you've joined the Women's Equality Party. What's that about?
Well, like I just said, I think that they're doing massive things at the moment. They're representing, there's a lot of women not represented. Currently, pregnant mums, we've had a huge influx in working with new mums and pregnant mums. So when I look at the Women's Equality Party as a whole, I like their ethos. They're not, as people might say, you're man hating, and none of that. It's none of that, but it's representing those that need to be represented. And people say you have got equality. I see it every day that we haven't. And then I just think I don't want to be drawn in the argument. I know what I can do to represent that. So I have joined the party. I've become a member of the Cheshire East branch, and hopefully, we can keep an eye on things. And like I say, I'll just represent the voices of the women that we support. I can see daily the issues that are there, and if I can feed that back, then that's good for everybody, really.
Have you always been this kind of passionate about wanted to support people? When you left school, what did you want to do for a job?
I wanted to be a probation officer, actually.
Oh, okay, so it's always there.
But then, ironically, I then went into retail for years, and that's always been a big issue for me, because I did really, really love that. And the only reason I left is ironically because I felt that it was not a place for a mum. That weren't. And I dare say they're probably not now. I won't name them, but I don't think they were, it's a place for a mum to work. I think retail's quite cutthroat generally anyway. But I think that experience of retail has helped me to run a charity. And that can be really hard for people to hear, because, people say it's a charity, it's not a business. But if you look at it from what I have to report in, the concept is very much there. I have got a business degree, so I think that has put me in very, very good stead for this. And we always say as trustees that, it has to be run like a business, but in front of it, it's got, a compassionate heart that hopefully comes through, really. And I do have to make decisions. I have to, funding driven, drives what we do sometimes, and that's really difficult for everybody.
And how difficult is it to get funding? Is your area and the community supportive? Is it really hard work getting the finances?
Every charity will say it's difficult. We've been very lucky during COVID. I think mental health was always on the forefront for people, and we are a mental health charity, so we've been looking at that. We've just done a 2.6 challenge, because that was in relation to the 26 miles London Marathon being cancelled. People were just so generous. I was absolutely, gobsmacked. I thought we'd get a couple of £100, and we ended up getting just over £5,000.
Wow, that's brilliant.
because I think people really, wanted to reach out. People understood how privileged they were in the situation, having gardens to sit in and things like that. So yeah, it's been, for us as a charity, we've done okay out of COVID. I think up till Christmas we're fine. New Year at the moment is going to be hard work.
Yeah.
But it's early days for that yet, really.
Yeah. So big plug now. So how do people find out more about the charity? What's the website?
Well, our lovely new website that's updated is www.motherwellcheshirecio.com. I also have my own website because I do some of my own work as well, and that's
where I would find the blog.
kateblakemore.com.
Right, so that's where we'd find your blog.
All of that. Yeah, all that is on my own website, which is kateblakemore.com.
Brilliant. Well, I shall add that to the links today. And it's as always lovely to see you again, Kate, and chat with you. And
good luck.
Good luck with everything, and I shall be watching, and hopefully we'll be able to see each other again soon.
Oh, definitely. Yes, thanks.
Lovely. Thanks very much. Thanks, Kate. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
So I will be back tomorrow, where I will be talking to Ali Mortimer, and Ali shares her kind of own personal experiences that have been quite traumatic in her life, and she's turned them around into such a positive, and she's now really helping loads of women, and she's healthy, happy, and we'll be sharing all her stories and hopefully giving you a little bit of calm on a Wednesday morning. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. And yeah, I'm just hoping you're enjoying these lives. So I'm going to do them every morning, Monday to Friday, 10:30, and I will be interviewing and chatting with previous guests and different women that I meet along the way that have inspired me. So thanks very much. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back in the morning.